Hey, y'all, welcome to Gadfly, the podcast about third parties, fringe candidates, and generally weird American electoral history. I'm Dusty Wilson.
I'm Una O'Leary.
Oh, man, it's been a busy week in the world and politics.
We continue here at Gadfly to sidestep the most pressing issues of the day and instead fill you with terror about something completely different.
Yeah, why take the terror that we have now, where in group chats I'm like, well, how much whiskey can you drink after a nuke is launched? To, like, all right, here's a distracting, terrible thing.
Yeah, Gadfly providing you with distracting, terrible things.
Yeah, I have been making a lot of pro-Palestinian statements on the Twitter, just as a heads up.
Yeah.
I realized you might not, I don't know what you support in that, so I don't want to like put things
That's making me realize I should probably like say, I know it's just been like mind-boggling, and I just remind myself that not everyone needs to say something online. Right. It's been real interesting on social media when a friend of mine from childhood has, I don't know if it's Zionist, like I think her brother might still be part of the Israeli forces and everything. And so it's like seeing like her post versus like other people's posts and just realizing like, oh, all of this is misinformation. Like the minute I actually start to look into like each side's like, I don't want to say incendiary, but certainly like emotionally volatile posts.
Right.
Like, oh God, I just need to delete all of this from my phone.
Right. And it's like Twitter used to be a pretty good spot for that. Now it's just there are whole files that are like, we're just doing disinfo right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, hey, it's really weird how a lot of people are now stating a video is clearly Israel attacking Gaza when it's actually Bashar al-Assad attacking people in Syria. And the very same video that people said was fake when it first showed up, they're now saying is real when it's under these contexts. And it's some wild shit.
Yeah.
I mostly handle the Twitter, so it's mostly through me making a lot of statements, but you know, it's really fucking disheartening in a lot of regards, especially the I don't know if you had read, but there was an order by the IDF that everyone in northern Gaza had to evacuate to southern Gaza in 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of if someone said, hey, north side of Chicago, I need all of you to go to the south side in 24 hours. Even in perfect circumstances that we are in right now, that would not work.
Nope.
We would shut down the L in 30 minutes. Like under normal situations, we can't use the streets.
You can't even make it to the loop from the north side if it's 8 a.m. Like,
yeah,
traffic is a disaster.
Yeah, and that's not even accounting to like, how many people on the north side have someone to stay with on the south side? Is there enough food and water already there in the segregated and horribly ignored south side?
Yeah,
you know, it's a whole fucking thing. But yeah, it really, really sucks because all I want is verifiable information. And we're kind of in that fog of war where a lot of people really don't want to release verifiable information because it might hurt what they want to say. And, you know.
Yeah. And meanwhile, it's like most news organizations have been undercut for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And then Twitter is, as you said, is just no longer the source that it was, right, pointedly.
So undercover of all that shit that's going on and happening, there was a whole swath of people ending their presidential campaigns and no one noticing. Probably the most prominent of them all is former Congressman William Hurd of Texas, who was trying to push really hard as being the anti-Trump nominee, but Chris Christie already nailed that. So back on the 10th, he ended his campaign and no one noticed.
Except for Eagle Eye Observer Dusty Wilson.
I mean, I didn't notice until 9 days after.
So
no, I had no clue. I was just going through the list of all of them being like, oh, I wonder if anyone's dropped out. And the answer is like, yeah, 4 people. Like there was him. There's a dude named Steve Laffey who used to be a mayor in Rhode Island, but he moved to like Oklahoma or some shit and he dropped out. There is Corey Stapleton, who was the Secretary of State of Montana, decided to run. He dropped out on the 13th.
And wait, these were all GOP?
These are all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And most recently, we have Perry Johnson of Michigan, who's almost like if Joel Osteen's church was based on just business. I think that's Perry Johnson.
Nice.
But he's dropping out probably to run for Senate.
Listen, smart move, Perry. Yeah. Do it.
Well, and he's already tried once before, but didn't make the ballot due to signature fraud.
I mean, at that point, that's still a step up from how the Michigan Republicans are doing. So I hear.
Yeah. True, very true. So we are just dealing with all of that. The Socialist Party USA held their convention to nominate their presidential nominees this weekend. And to
And
this,
by the end, we had three more socialist parties come
and
out of it.
oh yeah, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. To the surprise of me, they did not endorse Cornel West, who's now an independent, and we'll get to him. We previously recorded an episode on Cornel West, but the information that we recorded for that is now so out of date, we kind of have to do it
Incredible.
again.
Incredible. Yeah. And I feel like Cornel West is the bone to your dog, and you're not done with it.
No, no, there's marrow in that shit.
Yeah.
God damn it. Just on a side note, his campaign manager, Peter Dow, had a tweet yesterday saying that there has never been a presidential candidate as perfect as Cornel West, especially when you consider someone who has fought for civil rights, workers' rights, etc. And that is just bait for me. Just be like, look, Victoria Woodhull or Vicky C, as she's known by longtime listeners, she might not have been perfect, but she did the fucking work for marginalized communities until she went full eugenicist in her old age.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she actually did shit despite her con artist father ruining things on the regular.
Yeah, she earned her later in life terrible choices.
Right, right. And so it's definitely one of those things where it's like, I know this is just bait. I know this is content farming, but god damn it, I want to make a tweet of 10 people who were more perfect than Cornel West, because in order to help people, you have to do more than show up to a protest when there are cameras around.
You're doing the work, Dusty.
It's
You
driving...
see the fish hook and you're like, no, I still want that worm.
It looks so good. God damn it. But yeah, so the Socialist Party, they ended up nominating candidates from their own party. So I'm very excited to be going over them in a couple of weeks.
Good for them.
But in the meantime, amidst all of this chaos going on, I figured we should probably do a part 2 to the Kansas teens that we talked about last week.
Yes.
And which, quick shout out to Jack Burgesson and Tyler Ruzick, who actually reached out to us over Twitter. It's just very exciting that they even listen to this, because I just always assume we're in a... It's like Chicago storefront theater where you're happy if 3 people show up.
Yep.
That's the mentality I think we both bring to this.
Yeah. It's the glee of realizing that it isn't a family member,
right?
Staring
we
you back.
sold a ticket to a stranger.
Wait, what?
Are they here to murder us? What? Why are they here? But I wanted to continue the story because there is, out of the dozens of teens who ran for governor of Kansas, and if you haven't listened to that episode, it's a good primer. You don't have to listen to that one to understand this one, but it's
a nice episode.
It is. I would almost recommend listening to that one after this episode.
Oh,
because we have to start this off with the biggest trigger warning I think we've given so far. The story we're about to tell involves sexual harassment and abuse, physical abuse, gaslighting, and rampant misogyny.
Cool.
It gets bad. So we're gonna do a second when we're exactly on the verge of things getting worse. But I'm just gonna say now, if you want to dip right now, please do.
Yeah,
this is a good time to do that. If you're like on the fence, we'll give a second warning to let you know it's time to get out of the pool if you want. But this one's rough. But I think with all that's kind of going on right now in the world of leftist and progressive politics, it's an apocryphal story. There's a good lesson in this.
Gather around, kids.
Gather around the campfire. We threw shit on it.
Uncle Dusty has a warning for you.
So when we told the story about the Kansas teens who ran, we talked about, a dozen of them who ran, but I purposely left out one. And that is a fellow by the name of Aaron Coleman. So does that name ring any bells to you whatsoever?
I think it did last week, and then so much has happened to push gray matter out of my brain that I'm gonna need a fresh retelling.
Awesome. Great. Well, Aaron Coleman was born on September 20th in the year 2000 in Kansas City, Kansas.
Hold on.
Yep. It starts off.
Dusty, trigger warning for that. My God.
Yeah, no one was born in the 2000s. Everything is like Children of Men, the movie. Just no one's been born since then. So his father was a veteran of the Air Force, and his mother is a teacher. By Aaron's own admission, his childhood would be a troubled one. He would state that throughout his early school years at Turner Elementary School in Kansas, that the staff was not equipped to handle children with psychological needs. He didn't specify what he felt he should have been diagnosed with at a young age, especially in elementary school, which is really, really tough because you can't really diagnose someone that young with that many things
Mm.
because your brain's still developing. Like you
Yeah.
can't. A prime example is you can't diagnose a child with psychopathy. You have to wait until they're like an adult and show adult signs of psychopathy before you do that.
Okay. I mean, I am certainly okay with that because I feel like the swing of the pendulum would just take people to diagnosing any kid with behavioral problems
Oh,
as
absolutely, yeah. And
having
there's
like real serious actual like disorders.
right. And there's still like antisocial disorder, there's still schizophrenia. There are things you can still diagnose, but yeah, psychopathy isn't really a child thing.
Plus,
Um,
all little kids are just little narcissistic shits at
right, right.
one point or another.
I think at some point all psychologists realized that and just decided to be like, fuck it, they're terrible. I don't care.
Like, you
It's
know what? Like, yeah, finish with that frontal cortex and then we'll talk.
right. So he doesn't say what he thinks he should have been diagnosed with, but he claims what the school did is that whenever he had emotional outbursts, they would lock him in a closet for hours at a time.
Oh,
Um, so I'm trying to make a middle ground for this because one, schools really don't have a lot of closets. Like there's janitor closets, there might be, some rooms where you keep supplies, but I don't remember classrooms really having their own closets.
is this a public school
This is
or
a public school.
okay? Just yeah, I all right. I mean, sure. You know what? I'll take him at his word.
Right, right. And I think if we're doing that, probably the most generous interpretation is they probably placed him in a smaller room away from other students during times like this to allow him to cool down. It becomes a huge issue when it's like, how long was he left alone in this room? How small was it to begin with? And was there any supervision there
Yeah,
to make it something that isn't solitary confinement, which
yeah,
doesn't work.
yeah. Oh, little
Um,
kiddos.
so Aaron would state that this abuse from the teaching staff led him to develop PTSD. By the time he was eligible for middle school, his parents pulled him from the district and started homeschooling him. It's not clear when, but at some point homeschooling ended and Aaron entered Shawnee Mission West High School. And in 2017, Aaron dropped out of high school. He felt, quote, "It would be better worth my time to get 2 years of community college." Now, from what I could tell, with Kansas at least, they have a thing where you can enter into community college and get your associate's degree while at the same time earning your GED. And whether or not you get your associate's degree is dependent on whether or not you also get your GED. So you just get them both at the same time.
Okay, cool.
So he would state that his ultimate goal after this would be to get his bachelor's degree in political science, either from the University of Kansas or Kansas State, follow that up with law school. Then once law school was done, enter the military, spend the entire 20 years that he could there. I would assume probably as like a JAG or any other type of law or legal affiliation within the military. And then when the 20 years is up, retire with a really solid pension, work as an attorney when he wants, and file to run for governor around 2050. And he figures with this experience, he will be a shoo-in for the Democratic primary.
I mean, that last part debatable, but I love the innocence that goes into a plan like this. Is so peak teenage boy of like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go through college and then law school and then the military. And it's like, wait, why? What?
Yeah. No, this is my 40-year plan. I need it, and that's how it's going to go with no hurdles or missteps along the way.
I'm going to look sick in a uniform, have a really hot wife, and then I'm going to run for governor.
They're going to keep base a character on NCIS after me, and it's going to be great.
Aaron Sorkin is going to write. Wait, what was the movie with the You Can't Handle the Truth? A Few Good Men. He's going to write A Few Good Men 2, one man, me, and it's going to be my name.
Oh my God.
Boom.
Who issued the code red? I'm going to be governor. So that being said, it's a plan. Like you said,
it's a plan. We love a plan.
It's peak dude high school plans. But, you might as well get practice in for running for governor now. So in 2018, he entered the race for governor of Kansas, and he actually announced his candidacy about a month before Jack Burgesson did.
Oh.
So Aaron doesn't get an invite to be on Kimmel like Jack did, but he did get it.
And that's his villain origin story.
God,
next episode.
Just curious about that for the rest of the time. He had to go on, oh my God, he had to go on Craig Ferguson instead. But
Craig hates everyone.
he just got yelled at. The robot that was there just yelled at him.
Oh.
Anyway, so he's not on Kimmel, but he does end up getting an interview with Rolling Stone. Much like Jack Burgesson, Aaron was running a very progressive focused campaign. The main difference was that Aaron had no interest in running as a Democrat. He'd planned to run as an independent, with the possibility of gaining the nomination of the Green Party along the way. This in and of itself would be a very huge undertaking because the Green Party has never run anyone in Kansas for governor and does not have automatic ballot status in the state.
Yeah, that last part is a bit of a hurdle.
Yeah. So when Rolling Stone talked to Aaron in February of 2018, by that point he'd abandoned his goal of running as a Green Party candidate and instead had chosen to run as a write-in candidate, which I'm going to be rude as fuck with this. You are not running for office if you're a write-in candidate. There are exceptions. There are absolutely exceptions. But the vast amount of time you're not running for office, fuck off.
Boom.
Yeah, I have strong opinions on write-in candidates.
You really did? I did. How did I not know this? We've been recording for like 3 years.
Well, I think a lot of it's based on times I've worked in polling locations where you get a list of eligible write-in candidates that the state will actually count. And online, I constantly see people are like, "Oh, I'm going to vote for Mickey Mouse," or "I'm going to vote for Bernie," or "I'm going to do all this stuff." And it's like literally no one's going to know. No one has to count that vote. It is getting thrown the fuck out at the polling station. They are not calling anyone to say that this person wrote in this specific person. It's a waste of time for everyone involved.
Make your vote matter, people. No write-ins.
Like, I hate to say it, if you're just going to write in a vote, either just leave the space blank and vote for other people. If you feel that strongly about it,
just think it like a prayer.
Yeah, because literally all you're doing is making the night slightly harder for a bunch of retirees and college students who have been there since 6 a.m. and have at least until 10 o'clock at night to go.
And they're so full of Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh my God, so much coffee. Well, in my experience, I also had to pretend to be a Republican because at the time I was unemployed and in the city of Chicago, they said, "All right, are you a Democrat or Republican? Do you want to be a Democrat or Republican or either?" And I said, "Do I have to tell you what my actual affiliation is for it?" And they're like, "No, you're more guaranteed to get the job if you say, either." And I was unemployed and needed work. So they said I was a Republican, and I got to talk to a guy the entire time about how strongly his Republicanism was.
No.
And I had to be like, "I like John Huntsman." That's something, right? That's a guy.
The greatest acting gig of your life.
Oh my God. And I'm already bad at acting to begin with. It was oh God, it was an experience. Anyway, dude's running as a write-in independent. And in the state of Kansas, anyone can write as a write-in. They accept that as something that might happen. But on a state level, they don't count them. Unless there's like a strong, like a big, well-known write-in candidate who's running. We'll get to those later.
Great. Okay.
But with everything as it is right now, the write-in candidates do not get counted. So when asked why he decided this, Aaron would tell the Rolling Stone that it actually running as a write-in would, quote, save him from raising the $2,600 to file. By trying to raise that money, I'd have to take donations, which, in my opinion, are essentially bribes.
I mean, you should probably know the difference between a donation and a bribe. Like,
right. I mean, it's some donations definitely are not equal to others. AKA
absolutely.
Harlan Crow donating the maximum to Cornell West.
Good.
Not great. But also, someone giving you $20 who lives down the street, I don't think is going to be harassing you at the State House.
It's going to be like, "Hey, I'm here to collect on my $20 that I gave you in cash."
So I think this picture of Abraham Lincoln means that you're going to make seatbelts illegal, right?
So now that I've offered you 15 of my dollars, I'd like this pothole outside my window filled in.
Controversial take. That's a fair trade. That's acceptable. That's fine.
Maybe what we really need is more low-level bribing.
Right. Bribes are now illegal. They're not allowed to be more than $20, and you're only allowed one per year.
The light keeps going out in front of my building. Like, all right.
Fine, great. I'll get a guy on that. You can jump the line. Thanks for the 20.
Yeah.
As for campaign funds, quote, I just put aside $100 a month from my personal income, which, he's saying this in February and he's been running since July. So by the time the primary is coming in August, he's going to have $1,300 to run for office, which, not great, but it's something. As for his platform, it is very Bernie Sanders-esque.
All right.
He supported a backdoor sort of legalization of weed. So what he would do is on day one of becoming governor, he would issue a blanket pardon to all nonviolent drug offenders. And then anytime anyone got convicted of nonviolent drug offenses after, he would immediately pardon each new person every single day.
All right.
Yeah, I like the moxie.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm all for the intent.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like there's a lot of this is a little micromanaging,
Right. And,
maybe.
I don't know how much these people are getting charged in legal fees while getting arrested. Like, yay that they're not in jail. It would be
Mhm.
cool if a better thing happens, but I guess, in a Republican dominated state, it's not the worst idea I've ever heard if you can be on it every day,
Yeah, yeah.
not get impeached. He also supported tuition-free public college, lowering public school superintendent pay in order to raise teacher pay, a
Okay,
$50 an ounce cannabis tax, and Medicare for all.
sure.
He also noted to Rolling Stone that he had a much longer campaign platform, but the free website that he was using, he ran out of space, so he couldn't add more stuff.
Can we just pause for a moment and say, like, I wish this kind of energy was more visible in the student film community, at least in like the early aughts, when there just seemed to be a sense of like, well, what you got to do is just get 5 credit cards and max them out, man. This is
God
your
damn it.
opus.
Yep.
And really what we should have been doing was taking a page out of the student body government nerds who are like, I'm not paying for a website. Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
I'm not giving my money to Wix. I can't even get money from, my childhood friends because God forbid they bribe me when I'm finally in power.
So he did have a workaround to running out of space on his website, and it's a move. He posted his personal cell phone number on Facebook. In every single comment, he would end with his phone number so that if people wanted to know what his policy was, they could directly call him.
Wow.
Which he's 17 at the time. So if I were his parents, I'd be like, look, I understand the energy here. No.
It shocks me what what teenage boys just think you can do online.
Well, and
I
it also
No
just
woman would
showcases
ever,
right
ever.
showcases the shit that young men could absolutely do. But if you're like if Lucy Stayer, who was running for Secretary of State at this time, put her phone number
Mm-mm.
online, you would have to
Mm-mm.
move to the woods.
Yeah, a lot of weirdos out there. But then
Yeah,
again, they're probably not going to be weird to him. They're probably actually calling him to
right,
figure out
right.
his platform and a couple crank calls.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, there's gonna be weirdos,
Yeah.
but it's that whole Barbie movie thing where Barbie's freaked out, everyone looking at her, but Ken's like, I just feel admiration.
Exactly.
Now, all that being said, his actual candidacy is a bit of a question mark. When the other teen candidates were asked about him, none really knew for sure if he was running. Aaron wasn't present at any of their teen symposiums and doesn't really seem to have joined their group chat or hangouts or anything like that.
He's not like other teen governors.
I give up my phone number to everyone. I'm going to give you weed in the most roundabout way I can.
Like, truly.
So by the general election, interest in Aaron was pretty much non-existent. As we discussed in the last episode, pretty much by August 10th, any interest in these teen candidates was gone and dead. So for him to keep going up until the general, just no one cared. And according to him, he would end up getting 2 write-in votes for governor. But as I said before, the Kansas Secretary of State didn't tally any official totals for write-in candidates during this election. So I gotta assume the sad thing, he's counting his parents, which, it's a private vote. Believe what you want, man. Like, I know my parents love me. They would not vote for me, but they would absolutely lie and say they did.
Yeah, because like that's the best case scenario. Because
Mhm.
you don't break hearts, but you also don't render your ballot useless.
Yeah, and it's the most innocent lie I think a parent could ever have because it's not going to come back on you like the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus.
Yeah,
Who's going to
no.
fucking prove otherwise?
No, and meanwhile, you know that you've at least done your part to try to get a Democratic governor
Right. Well,
in
and also
Kansas.
you have this nice back pocket thing for your deathbed in case your son has been really shitty, like if he puts you in a home or some shit and doesn't come to visit. Just like have him like leave it in the will that but
Mm.
actually voted for Laura Kelly. Fuck you.
It's like
You get nothing.
the lawyer saying there, it's like, and this is truly awkward. Nothing's being handed out. It just stipulates that I have to read this out loud.
Look, I
Yeah,
talked to the other partners at the firm. Legally, I have to slap you. I wish this wasn't
it
the case.
says it in the will. It's not me. Don't kill the messenger.
Right.
It is the deceased.
Also, the deceased has a required decibel level of the slap, so I can't just phone this in. It has to reach a certain point, and we do have an adjudicator here to ensure that I do this right.
It's all above board. Trust us.
So, unlike the other teens who ran in 2018, Aaron would continue his political career. Now, I'm not saying that the other teens aren't going to. They've been busy with college.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they had to find out what natty ice tastes like. And honestly, that's a far more harrowing journey than running for governor.
God save you, kids.
Yeah. I have to know at least 5 flavors of Boone's Farm, and yes, I will accept color as a flavor.
Oh no. It was always strawberry and it was always the worst.
Oh man, green was my favorite. I really loved green. Fun side story, before I moved to Chicago, I was working at a wine shop and I got an entire case of Boone's Farm at cost, which was 12 bottles for $12.
I'm actually surprised it was that much.
Yeah, it does cost money to buy it. But
Well, and it's also making me realize, like, because that was the one product you could purchase on a Sunday in Oberlin. Yeah, yeah, and I think it was $3.99. I think the upcharge was just $2 more then.
Oh yeah, the one place I
Incredible.
knew where to buy it in Athens, Ohio, was like the shittiest little wine rack you could get, and they were all like $2.99 or $3.99, and you would double fist those all night and get a quarter drunk.
But a wicked headache.
Oh my god, the worst. For those of you who've never had Boone's Farm, it's like if Kool-Aid wanted to be wine.
Yeah, it's Kool-Aid's trashy, cooler older cousin.
If the Kool-Aid man drove an IROC, and half the time it was broke.
Or an AGX.
Anyway, politics. So
Yes.
So while everyone else is off going to college, Aaron decides he's going to keep running for office. And in 2019, he entered the race for the Board of Public Utilities for the city of Kansas City, Kansas. Or so he says, because I can't find anything to confirm this.
Interesting.
So part of it, I think, is that, there are 2 Kansas cities. There's Kansas City, Missouri, which is considered to be like the not the hoity-toity, the better of the 2. They flaunt it being the better city. And you have Kansas City, Kansas, which, is I guess the lesser between the 2 if we're talking about it. But Kansas City, Kansas, their city government doesn't have a website specifically for elections, while the one for Missouri does.
Oh, because they're hoity-toity.
Exactly. Yeah, they got to have those websites.
They have the money.
Yeah. And so I was trying to find evidence that he ran for this position. I found one news article from a KCUR, which is Kansas City's NPR affiliate, and they didn't list Aaron as a candidate for the at-large seats for this race, which leads me to believe he might not have, but there's just so little information that they might not have all the information for all the different districts.
Benefit of the doubt.
Either way, he doesn't win. That's not to say that Aaron isn't moving up the ranks. While he did lose the election, he was making himself a rising star in the Wyandotte County Democratic Party. At the age of 19, he was named a party precinct committeeman, and the next year he was elected party secretary of the Wyandotte County Young Democrats. And with that kind of local upward momentum, why not push for a third campaign in as many years as you've run? So in 2019, State Representative Stan Fraunfelter, real name, not a Muppet.
Damn it.
I know, it'd be so much better if Stan Fraunfelter, I think, is just like the somehow angrier brother of Sam the Eagle.
Yes, like a mix between Sam the Eagle and the blue man who's always complaining about his soup.
Yeah. Oh my god, that asshole. Yeah. He had a kid. And it's Stan Fraunfelter. So Stan announced in 2019 that after 7 terms in the state house, he planned to not run for re-election and instead was going to run for Wyandotte County Public Utilities Board. In the state house, Stan had made a name for being a very moderate anti-choice Democrat and had only faced challengers in 1 primary election and 1 general election over about 14 years. And I think he felt that his election to the utility board was a shoo-in. But after losing that election, he retracted on his plan not to seek re-election and hop back in the race. So by the time that he had retracted his plan to run for re-election, Aaron had already announced that he would be running for the seat. And what better than to run to the left of someone not used to facing strong competition?
Ooh.
To quote from the Sunflower State Journal, quote, in an announcement released April 20th, 2020, Coleman said he was running, quote, because I believe in a Kansas that works for every citizen and not policies drafted by state house lobbyists. As a previous candidate for governor, Coleman says that he had the opportunity to have conversations with Kansans. Quote, I've heard their struggles, and I believe the future of the people is distressed by representatives who have held office for too long. I seek to bring a fresh and caring view of every bill and issue that the legislature confronts. And then there's like kind of a weird retraction of a past history, where in this article, he states that he got his GED because of health issues, but
What?
specifically mental health issues. That the PTSD that he had gotten while he was in elementary school had made staying in high school too difficult. And so that's why he ended up leaving high school. Not because, like, oh, it's boring and I might as well go to community college and do that. Now it's a mental health issue that he left college to get his GED.
I mean, it's so fine, but I'm so curious because it feels like, was there some like unconscious A/B testing and the mental health choice went out over the like, I am too smart for high school.
Yeah. I mean, and potentially, I do want to say that the thing with trauma is it does make memory very difficult, and you
Yeah.
could remember stuff differently in the future as you grow and deal with your trauma and things like that. So for giving him just the biggest benefit of the doubt, it very well could be that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and thanks to the Wayback Machine, we actually get to look at his platform.
Hey.
But alongside that, we also have the fact that he posted to Facebook nearly every single fucking day during this campaign. So with that, we also get more of an idea of more details behind a lot of what he believes.
Incroyable.
All right. He is still supporting Medicare for all,
Great.
legalizing weed,
Do it.
raise the minimum wage in the state from $7.25 an hour to $15.
100%.
Add sexual orientation and gender identity to the state anti-discrimination statutes.
Ah, yeah.
Free public college or universities, community banking, which I always interpret as the USPS finally gets to be banks again,
Yeah, a future I'd love to live in.
universal basic income,
Hey, yes.
passing a state version of the Green New Deal, and disband the police and abolish prisons.
Big one, but sure, aim for the moon.
So this one he has a lot more details on. With disbanding the police, he defines that more as replacing cops with unarmed, highly trained social workers for mental health crises, calling the fire department for anyone who's overdosing on drugs, and states that, this doesn't mean that he supports a society with no cops at all, just, less.
Yeah.
He also supports ending qualified immunity, which means that you can't sue cops when they kill you or steal your shit.
That would be great.
Civil asset forfeiture, which is the legalizing of cops stealing your shit.
Mm-hmm.
Ending the drug war, ending no-knock warrants, ending mandatory minimum sentencing, and ending the militarization of the police.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, this is all a slice of fried gold. This is perfect.
Yeah, I would move to Kansas.
Mm-hmm. So one key difference between this race and his previous gubernatorial run is this time around, he's taking campaign donations. So let's take a moment to listen to his very first video asking for campaign donations.
My name is Aaron Coleman, and I, too, want to see a change of direction in our state. I'm running for Kansas State Representative for District 37 because in August, my brother Mikey passed away from depression at 23 years young. It's a shame that there is nobody of my generation who doesn't know somebody who has passed away from depression. The American people should be ashamed that we are cannibalizing the youth. I believe we need a state representative who's not going to be afraid to share his story about mental health. As your state representative, I will be that leader. I will fight to find solutions to ensure depression is no longer the leading cause of death for my generation. If you believe in electing progressives to all levels of government, please send $10 over tonight. Who you vote for is private knowledge, but who you donate to is publicly known. Please make a stand today. Thank you.
Okay, is the person holding the camera laughing or sneezing, or there just seems to be like a lot of like I even like went back to the Zoom to be like, does Dusty have like a little sneeze attack? Like is
no,
coughing?
that's the audio quality.
Okay, this is okay. I'm halfway through, and I feel bad, but I also watch this and I'm just like, I would not give this person money.
Yeah, I think the nicest way we could put it is he lacks on-screen charisma. It's, it could very, some people really freeze up in front of a camera, and Aaron isn't the sort of guy who's going to do, I don't know, a second take or try again. It's, he does it once and you put it up on Facebook and YouTube, and that's it.
It's all like I hate being that person, but there's a typo in the subtitles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all very slapdash and not very professional, which,
And it doesn't have to be like,
yeah, I know some teens. You could hire some people to do this right.
right. And this was in 2020. It's not
Mhm.
it's not like it's 2009,
Right.
YouTube is like still kind of getting off the ground and
Yeah.
no one has an iPhone yet.
Yeah. It's not like when LiveJournal figures out how to get videos on here, we're going to really be at the races. So yeah, so that's his first push for campaign donations. Shortly after this, Aaron dives headfirst into the Black Lives Matter protests in Kansas City, Missouri. Starting on May 20th, he would post often about local protests and the need for progressives to come out. And based on these posts, it appeared that he was protesting on a daily basis, from the end of May throughout the entire month of June. During this time, he also called for the abolishment of ICE and posted often that the abolishment of ICE needs to become a new progressive focus once Black Lives Matter is done. Which,
I don't know if Black Lives Matter is necessarily a thing that is done. I think
right, that's the issue I was having, is it's like
I even worry that mentality will like allow us to just be like, well, we fixed the racism. Bye.
Is back on the menu, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that Brennan Lee Mulligan sketch of being the ghost of the Confederate soldier who decides to try to stop all racism and is like, man, I didn't even get close. So yeah, so once we deal with racism, then we're gonna get rid of ICE. Just, put it on the list. Also, June is Pride Month. So he made sure to wish everybody a happy and safe Pride while also taking time to wish everyone a happy Pansexuality Visibility Day on May 24th. So I bring these things up they are part of, I feel, a regular progressive or leftist campaign to bring up these marginalized days and issues and things like that. I bring them up because it's they're kind of important pins to remember for later.
Okay.
Foreshadowing is So by July, Aaron's progressive bona fides were making the rounds, and he started to get his first endorsements. The first of which came on July 11th, when he was endorsed by Social Democrats USA. Now, we get to get the fun part of the bingo card of these episodes, splintering of socialist groups.
I was going to say, now, which socialist group is this again?
So, Social Democrats USA is not to be confused with the Democratic Socialists of America. Social Democrats USA were founded in 1972 during the Socialist Party USA's convention. By an overwhelming majority of 73 to 74, the party chose to change their name to SDUSA to signify the party's choice to completely dip out of electoral politics. In fact, by that time, they hadn't run for office since 1956, but due to their name, people still kept assuming they were. The name change was also done to signify that they weren't aligned with a Marxist-Leninist ideal and were strongly anti-communist. Officially, the new goal was now to push the Democratic Party into adopting social democracy. A subsection of the party would split in 1973 to form the Socialist Party USA, who we brought up at the beginning of this episode as already nominating the presidential nominees this last weekend. So they're still going. The major thought leader behind the rebranded Social Democrats USA was civil and gay rights leader Bayard Rustin. To cover Rustin is something that really deserves its own episode or two because he is an extraordinarily complicated human being. He was a black gay Quaker.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was really big into socialist movements, nonviolent movements, civil rights, gay rights. He was a very important voice in all of those movements. However, he kind of took a really weird neoconservative turn later in life. He and Reagan got along pretty well during the 80s, and you could kind of start to see instances of that at the founding of SDUSA. One of his biggest beliefs is that you can't focus on identity politics in a political movement, and he stated that identity politics were, quote, a fantasy of middle-class African Americans.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's not great. And a lot of that was based off the fact that he believed that people of color had to start working with white dominated unions, and people who may not like them, but still working with them would improve the lives of everyone in the long run.
Yeah, but that's not that. I just feel like recruit some allied white people to go into, because he's not wrong. Like those spaces are predominantly white and they can be hostile, but they are the ones who need to change.
Right.
They need to do the work.
It's such a depressing thing to read, but this would end up being a huge crux of SDUSA. That said, SDUSA fell into irrelevance after the creation of the Democratic Socialists of America. By 2005, the SDUSA fell into a kind of a hiatus state where people just kind of quit showing up and quit having meetings, and they wouldn't be resurrected until 2009. While the DSA has grown into a large nationwide organization, membership with the SDUSA, at least based on pictures from their latest national convention, it's in the dozens at best. Maybe hundreds, if I'm being nice, but
yeah,
it looks like they struggled to fit 8 people into one picture. But hey, an endorsement's an endorsement. And while Aaron had been apprehensive to accept the socialist label in 2017, because if you're called a socialist in red state Kansas, everyone thinks you're immediately a communist.
Yeah.
By this point, he was fully on board. 2 weeks later, he would get a second endorsement, this time from a Facebook group called Progressive Candidates, which I don't know how much sway they really have. They kind of remind me of the 2 women here in Chicago who do like their progressive thing each year.
Yeah, Girl, I Guess.
Yeah, Girl, I Guess. Yeah. So there reminds me a lot of that. On top of these endorsements, Aaron was making point to go door to door in the district, predominantly hitting up voters in the towns of Turner and Argentine. And as for Stan, all sides kind of point that he didn't do anything. He was an incumbent with district-wide name recognition and full backing of the party. Plus, he was facing a 20-year-old who honestly just doesn't sound that charismatic in his campaign videos. So why would Stan assume that he's more charismatic one-on-one with people? And
is he proven wrong?
It kind of seems that way because a lot of people start putting out Aaron Coleman signs. He's bad on camera, pretty decent one-on-one.
Yeah, he's doing the work. He's going door to door.
So we've reached the end of July. The primary is coming up on August 4th, and Aaron's cutting it close, but he really has a true chance to score an upset so long as he doesn't fumble the ball at the last second. On July 31st, 5 days before the primary, he made a pretty big unforced error. So we got to remember, it's 2020. We're in the middle of the pandemic right now. Things are not going well. And Aaron he's very strong in his conviction that mask mandates work and saved lives, which true.
Yes.
So when former state representative and radio talk show host John Whitmer made a statement that he objected to mask mandates, Aaron took to Twitter to meme it up, and he made a pair of posts. The very first featured a rather saucy looking Jesus doing the look over the shoulder look. And his hand is like pulling up his skirt tunic thing to like show off his ass. And I mean, that alone is already not great in Kansas. But he combined this with, quote, John, I'm going to laugh and giggle when you get COVID and die. At least we could say you died doing what you love.
Holy shit.
And then he comments on his own post saying, quote, and your buddy Herman Cain, how it worked out for him. Oh, LOL. Herman Cain died the day before this post.
Oh my God.
So Whitmer responded on Facebook by both arguing that the lethality of COVID wasn't that bad, but also saying, quote, I'll make sure your tolerance and fair-minded nature are shared with your potential constituents. The blowback on Aaron is swift, and the next day he apologized on Facebook. And by apology, I mean he internet influencer apologized.
No.
Quote, in exercising my First Amendment rights earlier this week.
Boo!
Oh, not a good start? Not a good draft?
I'm so sorry. I, as an American, am allowed to say what is on my mind, and it may have hurt your feelings.
I'm sorry if you're offended. In exercising my First Amendment rights, earlier this week, I crossed a boundary and offended people. After careful deliberation, I recognize I responded impulsively regarding a serious issue. For that, I am sorry. Additionally, I apologize to the Democratic Party for my actions, which are in no way a reflection of the party's ideals. So, as the saying goes, internet drama isn't real life. While some people may have heard this COVID drama, it kind of seems like that it didn't really hurt him that much.
Mhm.
Frankly, I know many people, myself included, who found some sort of dark humor behind the hubris of Herman Cain's death. So when the Democratic primary came, Aaron found Stan flat on his feet. By the end of the day of the primary, Aaron was up by 1 vote. And once the recount was done, Aaron won by 14 votes.
14. God damn, that is close.
To make things even more interesting, the Republicans had failed to nominate anyone. So effectively,
Oh,
Aaron's the winner.
oh damn.
Effectively. So unless someone decides to run as a write-in and can get enough votes that people are willing to count them or are forced to count them, he's gonna become a 20-year-old socialist state representative.
Yeah, Kansas with dark memes in his back pocket too.
So Aaron would go to Facebook and say, quote, "I honestly didn't think it would be this close. After messing up so much and failing to be the right candidate and burning a lot of bridges, I thought my chances were close to zero. But I did put in work, and my work somehow prevailed over all the mistakes that I plan to work on. I am not perfect and don't think I ever will be. But I do love my community, and if the votes go our way, I hope you join me in a journey of growth to become a better person." Now, did you catch something in that statement?
Things I am working on?
Plural mistakes, plural things. Because as far as we know at this point, all he did was make a shitty joke about COVID
Yeah.
that would have flown for probably nearly anyone else, but not if you're running for office.
Yeah.
So on August 13th, the Kansas City Star's editorial board did a deep dive in Kansas's youngest de facto state rep. When they looked into his Facebook posts, they found a disturbing post from June 17th, which has since been deleted. Aaron's post on June 17th was made in regards to accusations from when he would have been in middle school, or at least homeschool middle school. The Kansas City Star would approach him about these accusations, and Aaron would give this statement, quote, "The charges against me include bullying, revenge porn, and blackmail. I just want to make it clear that all these allegations are both true and occurred only digitally.
What?
I denounce these actions, and they are the actions of a sick and troubled 14-year-old boy."
Wait, why is he talking about himself as if he's not like this?
No,
The
that was some
phrasing is
other
so-
Aaron. That was another Aaron.
No, the phrasing is so Jekyll and Hyde. It's like I apologize for what happened when I was Hyde. That was not me. I am Jekyll, as you can see before you.
Mhm.
I take these allegations very seriously.
Yep.
I will not be doing them, but I cannot say with certainty if Mr. Hyde will be.
Yeah, and any further questions can be sent to my PR firm of Hyde.
Yes.
So if you haven't bailed and are kind of feeling apprehension about going forward, we are going to be going into details here. They fucked me up when I was reading them, so if you're like really on the fence on this, like now is absolutely the time to get out of the pool and join us next. So the Kansas City Star found out exactly what Aaron admitted to doing, and it comes in 3 parts. When Aaron was in 6th grade, he bullied a female classmate on a daily basis. Quoting the Star's interview with the young woman, quote, she recalls Coleman, quote, calling me fat, telling me to kill myself, like I'm never going to find anyone, like I'm worthless, just downgrading me every day. In one saved message, Aaron says, quote, "Fuck you, you fucking ratchet fat slut. Fuck off, whale. Go on a diet and get some braces."
Oh my God, this is a 14-year-old and he's being homeschooled? Like,
yeah.
what?
Well, this is the thing that confuses me because it's like she's in 6th grade. I don't know if this is during a time when he was in 6th grade and this was happening, or if he was being homeschooled and was still harassing someone who was in a public school. It's really fucking confusing.
I'm sure it's confusing because we are old and don't understand like the level of onlineness that is today's youth's lives. But I mean, not to take away from Jesus fucking Christ.
It has everything that you wouldn't. It's like body shaming, a little bit of racism, fucking like it's fucking horrible. And to make things worse, this woman says that the constant abuse led to a suicide attempt when she was in 6th grade.
Oh, this poor girl.
Another woman says that when she was in middle school, Aaron became obsessed with her. He harassed her for months, and it culminated in him eventually getting her home phone number and called every single day until her family threatened him to stop.
Where are are his parents? He's 14
Yeah.
and possibly being homeschooled
Well,
by, I assume, one of the parents.
his mom, who is, as would be later described, an underemployed teacher, and his father, who's dealing with his own mental health issues from the Air Force. And then there's the third part. So he did this, what I'm about to explain, to a 12-year-old girl when he was around 15. To quote her, he got one of my nudes and blackmailed me with it and told me that if I didn't send him more, he would send it to all my friends and family. And when I didn't send him more, he sent it to everyone I knew. I don't know how he got the picture. All I know is he's an awful person and he should not be allowed to run for anything.
Wow. Well, I mean, damn, yeah.
Yeah. And when she gave this quote to the Kansas City Star, she was 17 years old. And so June 17th, all of these accusations were brought up back then, but weren't really made publicly known until after the primary had finished. And while Aaron was admitting to bullying and revenge porn and blackmail, he's not really bringing up the fact that he also is guilty of distribution of child pornography.
Yeah.
And so it's extremely fucked up, to say the least. So 3 days after the Kansas City Star released this information, Stan Fraunfelter announced that he is running a write-in campaign, and along with the Kansas Democratic Party, denounced Aaron Coleman. Now, in the wake of this, the argument of whether or not Aaron is deserving of a second chance would come up. The biggest argument is that, liberals are all about rehabilitation, of rehabilitating yourself, and that everyone is capable of becoming a better person. So why are people suddenly denying this of Aaron? He's apologizing. He sounds sincere. He's admitting that he did this, which is more than most people get. So this becomes a very major issue. And he also states that he has attempted to reach out to all of his victims, but huge surprise, all three of them already have him blocked on all the socials.
Yeah, maybe make a statement about how he is not like, I think in that case is like, I have not contacted these women ever again. Like, and
yeah,
however they feel about me is correct. I cannot apologize enough, yada yada. Yeah.
And this literally reads like, you found out. So I tried to contact all of them after getting in trouble.
After finding this, like, one's home phone number and calling every day.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
we're threatened.
One is a clear example of him not being good at communication. Put it very lightly. God, I fucking hate this kid. Either which way. All right. So he expressed constant remorse in the wake of this and said he wanted to use the position of state representative to pass laws that would prevent other young men from turning out like he had. Once again, still blaming everything that happened in elementary school for him just being horrific to a group of people, to committing literal crimes against people.
Is he going to therapy at all? Like,
citation needed. So in the wake of this, within a week of admitting all this happening, Aaron had a cadre of progressives supporting him, despite what he'd done. Locally, his strongest support came from a teacher named Susan Stevens, who also just so happened to be the chairwoman of the Kansas City Social Democrats chapter. But the biggest name to come to Aaron's side was a journalist by the name of Glenn Greenwald.
Oh no!
We have a Glenn Greenwald appearance. Hide your brain, because a man without one is coming. Glenn Greenwald ended up writing a gigantic article in The Intercept talking about how Aaron is deserving of a second chance, and anyone saying otherwise is a hypocrite. I was trying to find some quotes, but I very quickly was reminded that Glenn doesn't so much make arguments as he just partakes in rampant whataboutisms. And the best summary I have is like, sure, Aaron did bad stuff, but so did other people. Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray had some homophobic tweets when he was 15. A speaker at the DNC, Donna Hilton, kidnapped and murdered a guy when she was 20. You know, she has since been working in rehabilitation programs, has been a huge proponent of mental health services because her childhood was, quite frankly, fucking horrific, but is an example of people rising above horribleness to produce good in the world and to kind of try to make up for what they've done. Something that Aaron has not done at this point.
Right. No, he's...
And the funny thing is, like, he writes about Donna Hilton's crimes as, you know, as bad things when the link that he supplies is to a Twitter post he made that her rehabilitation is a good thing that should happen more often. So he's both demonizing and lionizing her at the same time. I guess that's what you need to be a good journalist in 2020. 2020. So either way, he makes it clear that he thinks that this is really about liberal Democrats doing everything they can to get back at a progressive candidate who defeated one of their friends. Also, Aaron tells Glenn Greenwald that society owes him to make up for his treatment because, we live in one.
Boo!
It's yeah, anytime someone blames society out of nowhere, it isn't great. But yeah, so what's your opinion so far on this? Is with the crimes that he has committed, is he still deserving of a second chance?
I mean, this is, these don't seem like the kind of actions that were taken out of context for one's personality. So I'll say that. I don't know, man. Like, 'cause it seems like the argument is he should receive this position because he acknowledged he did a bad thing. Which, and as you pointed out, it's like, is he going to therapy? Is he is he doing anything other than just run for government?
Right.
In which case it's like it's that feeling of like, oh, it's cancel culture unless the media decides you've been canceled and then a year later you're putting on another tour because everything's fine. It's like nothing's been taken from this guy except that the other candidate is like, well, shit, I'm gonna do a write-in. So guess what? Like, it's up to the voters, the way it always was.
Yeah. Well, it's a really good point that, like, if you haven't proved that you've started therapy, and I understand if it's all because at this time he's working as a dishwasher, so it's not like he has the money to pay for therapy.
Yeah.
That being said, there's at least one rape crisis center in most large cities, and nearly all of them have a program specifically for men who recognize that they are abusive, that they have horrific views of women, but who genuinely wish to change. Historically, not a lot of guys enter into those programs, but they do exist. And so there is a rehabilitation path for someone like him who has done this in the past, who can be given guidance on how to make up for the sins that he has committed. I don't see any example of him doing that. All I see is a guy trying to run for power.
Yeah.
And like if he hasn't shown any indication that he is going to use that power to improve the lives of the people he's hurt.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to like psychoanalyze a person running for office who's going to represent me, mostly because it's like, I don't know, I feel like it takes a little bit of like brain breakage to decide to do that in the first place.
Right.
And second, it's like, I don't know, I'm not interested in like analyzing them like a fictional character for a fandom site.
Yeah.
But we'll say it's like, I think there is something telling about how you react in times of stress. And this is going to be a stressful position. So it's like, it's the kind of action where it's like you nip this in the bud, or you get the press when you lash out at a female congressperson in the state house.
Yeah. Well, I think it also, I should note too, because there were many posts where he said he was a proud feminist who was happy to be running alongside an entire slate of Democratic females like Sharice Davids and Laura Kelly. And yeah,
like they always are. They're always woke bays until they're not.
Yeah, exactly. So despite this surge of support, 2 days after his Greenwald interview, Aaron announced that he would be dropping out of the race, and did so via a 1 a.m. Facebook post.
Classy!
So let's see how you like this one. Quote, "In all seriousness, feminism doesn't have a chance so long as Donatism remains on the march." Donatism is a 2nd, 3rd century Catholic theory that anyone who has committed a sin is not welcome in the church.
I appreciate the deep cut.
Yeah, I'm angry he made me look something up. This is bullshit. I'm furious that this kid knew something I didn't. That is not right.
I just assumed Don'tism was like a shitty portmanteau of like, don't do this, and don't go on the internet, and don't be a male.
Oh my God. I don't know if that would have been better. I think it would have broken me just as much.
Yeah.
It continues on. "The Progressive Circular Firing Squad has done more to uphold the status quo than conservatives could have ever dreamed of. I will be releasing a press release in the morning that I am resigning." So, no notes. Perfect.
A press release to whom? You have a free website.
I know, right? It's
got your neighbor to hold a camera up to you to shoot a minute-long ad.
Yeah. It ended up not mattering because 2 days later he revoked his resignation and continued his campaign.
Exactly. Just go. It's up to the voters.
Mm-hmm. I do have a whole paragraph rant that he wrote on Facebook that I was gonna read, but I really don't want to because it's just whinging. It's just constant. There's like occasional caps lock in him whining that is like, I'm trying to be a better person, and my parents have had a hard time, so I deserve to be a state representative. Man.
I mean, is it like to your very early point about like I don't know, the progressive discourse at large is like this is the problem is it is constantly a snake eating its own tail because you do have like so like feral bacchanal followers on Twitter just like pouncing on I don't know like fucking Kamala Harris, say what you will, but everyone was just like, oh, she's a cop. It's like she's also a person of color who's incredibly smart and charismatic. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you can't, God forbid, you see a girl boss winning. But then you have this guy who's like actively sending nudes of a 12-year-old around as blackmail.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, this is why the conservatives will always win. No, you're just a terrible person. It's you. It is specifically you.
Una, I don't appreciate the fact that you're just diving in so willy-nilly into purity politics.
I hate it so much. I don't even want to be here, Dusty.
I know. I'm thankful every time you are. So the Kansas State Democrats react to Aaron dropping out of the race by deleting his Act Blue account, which is his source of fundraising.
Yikes.
They immediately disavow him and endorse Fraunfelter.
All right, yeah.
But more interesting was the reaction of Aaron's most recent ex-girlfriend, Taylor Passo. So 2 days after Aaron definitely stayed in the race, she went to The Intercept, who had published Glenn Greenwald's glowing op-ed of Aaron, to reveal that Aaron's abusive nature was still very much in the present tense.
There it is.
Taylor states in an article written by Ryan Grimm that when the two first started dating, Aaron was very upfront about his childhood and told her about his past actions, including the revenge porn. And she felt that after he talked to her that he was sincere and was deserving of a second chance. On October 27th, 2019, about 4 months before Aaron was going to enter the race, the pair had rented an Airbnb. They're in a hot tub just hanging out, and Aaron brought up his interest in maybe one day the couple having a threesome.
As many men in their 20s do. So it's so far so normal.
It's the most common red flag they sell. It's right next to maybe we should try an open relationship and have you seen Boondock Saints?
No.
I'm very millennial on that one, so I'm sure your mileage may vary on the last.
Chef's kiss.
And so Taylor responds in what I think objectively is the cutest and funniest way ever by saying, that's not really my thing, but maybe on your birthday I can break up with you for a day and you could just go do it.
That's a cute and yeah. That's a good sidestep.
Yeah, that's, if you're having that conversation in a hot tub, we're like, okay, let's just put all of our sexuality on the table and just be open, no judgments. That's a great reaction to that.
Yeah.
His response is not great. So Taylor said, quote, he sat there for a few seconds. Then he jumped on top of, put his hands around my throat and started squeezing and slapped me 3 times and said, I don't know where the fuck you think you're going.
Oh boy. Oh God.
Yeah. So she was able to push him off pretty quick. He then demanded that she apologize to him for threatening to break up. He stormed out of the hot tub and then went to sulk in the car.
Yeah.
She would apologize via text, which I gotta say, every text that is brought up in this was published by The Intercept. So the evidence is there. It's there for the world to see. And so she apologizes to him via text. And he said, look, I only went to the car to warm it up. And that he was, quote, sorry I failed your shit test. So what followed after this were just multiple texts of Aaron gaslighting Taylor over what happened. She would bring up how it happened. He said, well, you have a pretty funny memory of how things happened. Just denying he attacked her. And then culminated in text messages where Aaron straight up told her to kill herself.
Wow.
There was another set of text messages that I haven't seen where he apparently said that he wished that someone would kill her and spread her body parts all over the state. It's just like some violent fucking shit.
Jesus Christ.
So on the day that this article came out, Aaron made a post on the importance of equal rights for women.
Fuck off, Dusty.
Yeah.
Such trash.
It's just so much fucking garbage. So on October 4th, Aaron would reply to a reply on Facebook where he would definitively state what he thought of Taylor Passo's accusations. Quote, "The truth is, I was involved in a mutually toxic relationship with my ex-girlfriend, and I were both lucky to get out of it as quickly as we did. Now she's telling untruths because she is mad that we broke up. Without a doubt, it was an emotionally abusive relationship, but I stand by my statement that she would beat the crap out of me and all I would do is restrain her. You're hating on me because you want to help elect someone who is anti-choice, who voted to criminalize abortions. And it really shows how much you care about women that you don't even care about their civil liberties."
Oh, now he's just gaslighting his voters.
This was said in reply to a comment that Aaron allegedly made on his Facebook. I couldn't find it. That he would have murdered his girlfriend if she told him she was pregnant. And his response after people said, "Well, that's kind of fucked up," was like, "Well, that's why we need to expand Medicare."
Oh boy.
Yeah.
This is why we can't have nice things.
It's exactly why we can't have nice things. It's
fuck.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm done with this little shit. He could fuck off. So I'm gonna just skip to the general election in November. He fucking won.
No.
He won the general election despite Fraunfelter and a GOP write-in running against him. The power of his name only being on the ballot was too much, and he won with 66.4% of the vote.
Holy shit.
Yeah. He celebrated this victory by reframing the revenge porn that he did. Quote, "I wish somebody would have told me when I was 12 years old that if a girl sends you a photo, you should just delete it. You shouldn't send it to your friends. You should delete that photo. I never got that list. First of all, the math ain't mathin' that you're 12 years old in that, because you were 20 when you ran for office. I did the math on her being 12 at the time and her being 17, which means you would have been 13 or 14 when you sent that out, you son of a bitch."
I mean, what a way to recharacterize that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the fact is he won, so now he has this big head about him that, fuck it, I can do whatever I want. 66% of the district is cool with me doing these things. Fuck it. The very next day, he took to socials to, quote, "put a hit on new Governor Laura Kelly for not being progressive enough." He clearly meant put an electoral hit, as in running a progressive against her if she wasn't progressive enough. But it's fucking words, man.
No, yeah. You have a history, sir.
Yeah. This led the Democratic Party to immediately begin impeachment proceedings before he'd even been sworn in.
Great.
Also, it was all the other shit he'd done before, too, were lumped into this. So Aaron wasn't even in the state legislature yet, but thriving from such a commanding win, he began acting as if his previous crimes he'd done were now buried and behind him. During an interview, he would make the claim that the victim of his revenge porn had actually been in communication with him, and even she thought it was ludicrous that the Democratic Party was trying to impeach him. Citation fucking needed, Aaron.
So now he's more than likely just straight up lying, or like at least delusional about the truth.
Yep, because these women have chosen to remain anonymous, and
I wonder why.
I fucking know. It's, oh my god, it's So in his final incident before being sworn in, and yes, he was sworn in and he was never impeached, he went to Facebook to declare that only 3 groups hate him. So let's see if we're in any of these groups. 1, people who are anti-abortion. 2, neoliberals and neoconservatives. 3, people who believe young people who make mistakes can't learn from their mistakes.
I don't think that's a recognized group, but
yeah, it's kind of hard to define and pin down how many people fit in that. It just
wow. I mean, the Howard Hawks level of psychoticism and narcissism, so fast. Like the blink of an eye, man. He's not even the seat hasn't even been dusted off for him.
I mean, there's a lot of things I want to say, but I don't want to get banned from anything. All I'll say is he's old enough to be diagnosed with psychopathy at this point. So just keep that in mind.
It was there.
So Aaron gets sworn in. He passes no legislation during the time that he's there, mainly because no one wants to work with him, but also because his 2-year term is nothing but scandal. Brand new scandals. So he spent a lot of time on the horrific shit. So we kind of have to rush through the merely awful stuff, because I'm not going to do 2 episodes about this guy.
No, he doesn't deserve 2 episodes.
December 4th, 2020, Wyandotte County Judge Kathleen Lynch issues a temporary no-contact order after Brandy Armstrong, who was Frauenfelder's campaign manager, accuses Aaron of consistent harassment. According to filings, the harassment started a couple weeks after Aaron filed to run for the seat. Armstrong states that she believed it was due to Aaron being banned from the state party Facebook page due to him constantly breaking posting rules that he started harassing her. Aaron began constantly messaging her until she ordered him to stop on June 26th, which he did. 3 days later, he showed up at her house.
Oh, God.
When she wouldn't answer the door, Aaron went to the neighbor's house, and after they answered, he spent the whole time complaining about Armstrong. Once that was done, he took a campaign yard sign, stuck it in Armstrong's yard, but made sure that the front of the sign faced her living room window.
This is a nightmare. This is so terrifying.
Yeah. So it appears that the restraining order stopped the harassment, but that's probably because he got a new target at around the same time. On December 31st, Democrat House Minority Leader Tom Sawyer announced that he'd deny any committee assignments to Aaron, and this led Aaron to leave the Democratic Party 2 days after he was sworn in, and then 1 month later he rejoined the party. And in between this time, he would focus his rage on Heather Scanlon, who was Sawyer's chief of staff. And funny how he doesn't seem to ever go after men. I wonder why that is.
Yep.
In a written statement to the Kansas House Select Investigation Committee, Scanlon would state, quote, "During the 2020 election cycle, I spoke with Mr. Coleman many times. I can assure you that this man feels no remorse, no regret for his actions. In fact, he revels in them because they place him in the spotlight and in the press. He has said several disturbing things to me in our conversations, which led me to repulsion and fearful of what he would and most certainly will do next. When the official Kansas House Democratic Twitter page put out a post condemning him, he immediately called me and launched into a raging diatribe, threatening to, quote, kick Tom Sawyer's ass, amongst other threats." And
fucking called him. Jesus.
Yeah. And in the end, rather than expelling him from the house, they gave him the worst punishment known to man, a strongly worded letter of condemnation.
Damn it, Dusty.
And so, having learned his lesson, it would be months until his next scandal. On October 25th, 2021, Aaron was banned from all the offices of the Kansas Department of Labor. According to Aaron, he merely went to the DOL to expedite constituents' unemployment relief during the pandemic. According to the Department of Labor, Aaron showed up to a building that was closed due to the pandemic and proceeded to yell at the only cop who was there for not letting him inside. Yep.
What happened to bad Jesus meme, wear a mask, buddy?
Right, like that. Looking back on that is such simple times. It's like, I don't like it, but fuck, why not?
That's the difference power makes. Stop giving crazy
you could
men
just show
power.
up to the Department of Labor and yell at a cop for a while. So this scandal ends up not going anywhere because 6 days after he was banned from the Department of Labor, he's arrested. Not for trespassing on Department of Labor property, but on domestic violence charges.
Finally.
Now, there aren't a lot of details on this, but most of what I can find is that he got into a fight with his family where he ended up punching his brother and threatening his grandfather. Quoting WIBW, the judge ruled Coleman would be released on $1,000 personal recognizance bond and ordered him to appear in person at his next court date. As a condition of this bond, Coleman may not contact victims or witnesses in the case at all for 72 hours. After that, contact is allowed, but it must remain nonviolent. Coleman also must undergo a mental health evaluation within 21 days and follow the provider's recommendations. These charges seem to have been dropped. I imagine his family just didn't want to press charges.
Yeah. It's a huge burden on the victims.
Yeah. And finally, on November 28th, 2021, Aaron was arrested for driving under the influence. In January 2022, this charge would be dropped and would be charged with the lesser charge of speeding. Finally, just because it really shows the kind of guy Aaron was mid-campaign, there is a small interaction that he had with Our Revolution Kansas City, which is a Bernie Sanders created organization. On June 6th, the chair of the chapter, Faith Rivera, informed Aaron that the org would not be endorsing anyone in the House race, to which he texted back to her during Pride Month, I might add, "Gay. I literally outleft Bernie Sanders."
Man, the ego on this guy.
There's something seriously overwhelmingly wrong with this guy, and it's failing up. He's just constantly fucking failing and not getting punished for any of it.
Yes.
So, of course, in 2022, he runs for re-election. And it's going to be really, really hard because he's running in the Democratic primary, and the party has suspended him for a period of 2 years.
So is he running as an independent?
No, he's running in the Democratic primary still. Nothing in the rules says a dog can't play basketball.
Damn it.
So he gets to the primary and he faces both Faith Rivera of Our Revolution Kansas City and a nurse by the name of Melissa Oropeza. And Melissa ends up winning, but both candidates crush Aaron, who somehow still
thank
gets
God.
334 votes. So I would like to say that this is the last anyone ever has to hear from Aaron Coleman, but that's not the case, because this, as I said at the top of the episode, this is all an allegory. This is all a lesson that we keep having to learn in leftist circles.
Mm-hmm.
Because a shitty common theme of progressives and leftists is that staying on the side of candidates who have revealed themselves to be awful people tends to lead people to not disavow them ever. Once someone goes all in on someone, even after they've been proven to do horrible things, there is nothing that will pull these people out from supporting. Cornel West is a great example that online there is still a strong amount of support for him among certain people, despite him taking money from billionaire Nazi Harlan Crow, or the fact that he is still best friends with alleged sexual harasser Tavis Smiley, or that he's working with Christo-fascists and transphobes to create a homeschool Christian version of the SAT. All these things can come out as reasons that he is not as good as people say he is, but people have latched onto the personality and won't let go.
Mm-hmm.
And this is exactly what happened with Aaron Coleman. He still has super devout followers to this day, mostly amongst the Social Democrats USA. To show you how bad it is, back in September, Social Democrats USA held their national convention in Buffalo. Aaron was a selected speaker
Buffalo
to speak at one of their panels. He and Susan Stevens, big surprise, presented a panel called All Politics is Local, Kansas Edition. No idea what that motherfucker even has to teach, but they...
No, and it's like this guy starts getting that kind of name recognition in these circles, and meanwhile the young woman who really made an effort to become Buffalo's mayor got ousted actually through like bullshit Democratic machine politics.
Yep.
It's like, how is she supposed to feel safe on that stage? You know,
Yeah.
like if she's part of a panel that includes this jag off.
Mm-hmm. It's so disheartening. But also, he's currently running his fourth political campaign as we speak.
Why can't he? He's supposed to be in the military by now.
Yeah, he hasn't even gone to get his degree in political science. As far as I can tell, he has no degrees. This is his job now, to grift off being a state rep that no one in the entire Capitol liked. So he's currently running for the Turner United School District Board of Education, the school district that allegedly tortured him as a child.
Oh, God.
So on Facebook, he does occasionally get pushback, but he's recently been parroting that, he may have been arrested twice, but he's never been convicted. And anyone saying otherwise is just trying to exaggerate. So all that being said, I think it's important to end with a quote from Sarah Jones, who wrote a piece in The Cut on the sort of boys will be boys attitude towards Aaron Coleman. Quote, people can change, and yes, the left should embrace restorative justice. But restoration is a process. It can take years, and it produces evidence. Coleman never provided anything more substantial than words. If he withdrew, this time for good, and began the slow, difficult work required to bring healing to his victims, maybe he'll become the person his apologists wanted him to be. But right now, that day looks far off. He promised new solutions to old problems, but there's nothing new here. Pick this bad man, or this bad man will take away your right to abortion. This isn't material change. It's the same old bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah. And I guess I'd also like to say, hey, leftists, join me over here at we don't have cameras and podcasting. Just join me by the microphone. If you've seen Talk to Me, just shake the plaster hand or talk to me. Yeah. Have you seen Talk to Me yet?
No.
It's amazing. It's so good. All right. Hey, you don't have to vote for a shitty person. Shitty people have money. Shitty people are good at making videos sometimes. But just because they are the ones who show up first doesn't mean that abandoning them when they end up being less than great is a bad thing. Anyone who complains about purity politics are people who don't care about your well-being. They don't care about the fact that someone they're voting for might be grifting, might be abusive, might be horrible. They don't care. They just want to win. And so when you go to vote, maybe actually try to find a good person to vote for. They don't have to be 100% perfect, but they should at least cross the barrier of haven't sexually assaulted people.
Yeah.
And I think that, or supported people who have done this. And I think that's a bare minimum we could all agree on. And weirdly enough, the people who don't agree with that, I mean, they're in the cult and they've already signed on to the grift. And yeah, that's all I got. I don't know. But yeah, that's the story of Aaron Coleman, who at the age of 23, we're stuck with this guy. I don't know if I don't think he's ever going to rise to any sort of national status. The Social Democrats USA clearly don't have any sort of organizing skill. And, with their dozen or so members, I don't think they're going to be able to push Aaron Coleman to a different thing. And unless he takes at least a couple public speaking classes, I don't see him doing much. But it's also thoroughly depressing that a lot of people at the same time are just like, well, he's a progressive, so we'll just put it in, just do it. Holding people not to the same standards that you would hold to established politicians.
Right.
I don't know.
Right, because God forbid you vote for an established politician.
Right. But yeah, what do you think?
It is one of those things where, like, progressives, they can be just as bad. Da, 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 da.
It really is kind of wild that when you start really looking into socialist circles, it's a whole army of awful fucking men who are just there getting away with the worst shit and people supporting them no matter what.
Yeah.
So with that said, we're going to be looking into the Socialist Party USA in 2 weeks, looking at their presidential nominees, which, I've only heard of one, so it's going to be interesting to dive into people. I did see that their vice presidential nominee is a biochemist, so that's something.
Okay, that's cool.
That's a new one. So I'm hopeful. I'm really, really hopeful. I would like to vote for a third party candidate that is against genocide and, actively against sexual assault in their beliefs and actions.
I think for aldermanic people, you and I are both in the clear. I think we both have good.
Yeah.
So
this
is what I mean by vote locally. Like, yep. So start there.
So when Jan Schakowsky retires and Maria Hadden takes her job, then I can run for alderman.
Yes, we're gonna need you, Dusty.
Oh my God, I don't want to set the record for the most screams inside of a Chicago City Hall meeting. But yeah, so I guess on that note, hopefully next week we'll be happier. I really don't know. I haven't started the research, so I can't promise one way or the other. But it's got to be fucking better than this.
So yeah, just enjoy this period of blissful ignorance, one way or another.
Like, if you're super fucking mad and need an outlet, go onto YouTube, look up the Indian folk metal band Bloodywood, listen to their song Donna Don, which is about like kicking the shit out of rapists.
Ooh.
It's fucking great. It's really, really good. But yeah, I guess we'll see you next week, or in 2 weeks, next time, here on Gadfly. Gadfly is a production of Added Serotonin. Our episodes are edited by Brianna Valentine of Rem Alternus Productions. Our theme song is Sophomore Makeout by Silent Partner, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at GadflyPod.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy. With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. Hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?